Even as someone who prefers physical copies of games, I've got to admit the selection of games available in Xbox GamePass is pretty incredible. He has some of the top picks, some for PC, some for Xbox, and some for both. And quick note, if you're watching this at a much later date, some of these games might have been removed from Game Pass. Sea of Thieves. Sailing the high seas hunting for treasure with a group of friends is awesome. What could go wrong, apart from krakens, ghost ships, and other teams of players sailing about each with their own ships, ripe for destroying and looting through some good old PvP. The situations you can get into can be so funny. It can get a bit grindy in the long term, but the story missions are great fun with friends. Doom Eternal is easily one of the slickest first-person shooters I've ever played. In fact, it feels more than an FPS. It's almost mutated into its own genre that has hints of fast-paced hack and slash. You'll be stomping demons on an earth that's been invaded by the forces of hell, and your ears are going to be blessed by an awesome banging metal soundtrack that just twists you into a trance as you weave between demons blowing them to bits. Very fun. Ark is an open-world survival game, but with one big twist. You're stranded on an island with other players, dinosaurs, and primeval creatures. Gather up your friends to help each other survive, harvest, construct buildings, progress, and tame dinosaurs. There's some pretty tough endgame bosses to work towards. I can remember sending out armies of tamed dragons against a giant dragon raid boss. It wasn't easy, and our dinosaurs and dragons went extinct a little bit early. But at the more casual end, I also know some friends who just enjoy the base building. Player versus player is optional, but I've had some incredible experiences with PvP. This one time there was 3 of us on the beach minding our own business. A little character comes by, he's pretty fast. He's clearly put all his attribute points into movement speed. This little guy knocks my friend out with a club over the back of the head and carries him off into the jungle, taking him prisoner. He's so fast we couldn't catch up and we had to go on a mission to rescue our friend. It was kind of horrifying and hilarious knowing this guy was on the island and could easily capture us at any time. While Ark may not have its own story, you as the player make your own unique stories through your interactions. There's the classic Age of Empires. We've got the entire series available, but number 2 is the one I'd recommend the most. I'm afraid this one is one of the rare games that is only available on PC, but it is best played with keyboard and mouse. Age of Empires 2 is the peak of real-time strategy that takes you through various history ages. If you can grab a few friends, large team games or free-for-alls can take up a big part of an afternoon, and are massive fun. You'll crush enemies with massive armies, lay siege to enemy cities, you could work cooperatively towards a diplomatic victory, or turtle up and try to defend critical game objectives. I'm currently trying to complete all the campaigns in Age of Empires 2, and I've clocked over 100 hours and I'm still not finished. If you enjoy Dark Souls-like gameplay and a bit of anime, then Code Vein is the game for you. It's set in a post-apocalyptic world, you can co-op with friends, and there's cool boss fights. I found the character creator is the strong selling point of the game, letting you get really creative. My only criticism would be some of the level design. It can be easy to get really lost in some areas. I got stuck in a cathedral area for a stupid amount of time. Be warned. Alien Isolation. Fan of the Alien movies or not, prepare to be horrified. This is a true survival horror set 15 years after the Alien movie. We'll be getting scared out of our wits through the perspective of Ripley's daughter, Amanda. Isolation had a real slow build-up that led me into this false sense of security. When it actually came to hiding and dealing with the aliens, it could be pretty overwhelming with a constant feeling of dread. I was desperately trying to hide from aliens, and you can just feel or hear the vibrations of them stomping around the ship's interior. Even when you're not directly dealing with aliens, there's just this atmosphere which has you on edge as the space station creaks and crumbles, or you're dealing with inhumane and unhelpful synthetics. There's just something about them that's horrifying in their own creepy ways. Dragon Quest XI-S is a fantastic but very old school JRPG with turn-based combat which might put a lot of people off. You play the reincarnation of a legendary hero who's branded Darkspawn, leaving you no choice but to go on the run as everyone is hunting you down. The game is spiced with nostalgic Dragon Quest themes and references, but you don't need any previous Dragon Quest experience to enjoy this. Take it from me, this was the very first Dragon Quest game I've ever played. But I was addicted to this. Even after you finish the main story, there's an end game that extends the story which is really enjoyable. If you're an Xbox or PC gamer, you'd have to be hiding under a rock not to be aware of the Halo series. I just recently redone all of the Master Chief Collection on PC. Halo 2 and 3 are my personal favourites. It might just be nostalgic, but I love dealing with the zombie-like flood enemies and their big bad leader, Gravemind. Vehicle segments and battling gigantic robot scarabs are my favourite parts too. We found Halo 4 co-op was really buggy, but we still managed to find fun with it. If you're interested in the co-op, everything after Halo 2 lets you run 4-player campaigns.
The fucking speed I'm going right now.
Nier Automata is an unlikely creation between the masters of fantasy, Square Enix, and Platinum Games, whom have a track record of stellar quality gameplay experiences. There's a real gut-wrenching story here. You play androids in a battle with machines from another world, whom have driven humanity from the Earth. If you enjoy Nier, a little advice, keep playing after the credits and try to get all of the endings, it's worth it. Resident Evil 7, in particular the first few hours of this had me horrified, and honestly it's been a while since Resident Evil was really scary like this. RE7 takes the series back into haunted mansions, and with a new perspective, the first person view. With this more restrictive angle it adds to the horror and the stress. Man, I really wish this was compatible with VR on PC, but sadly it's PlayStation exclusive. Slay the Spire is a fantastic hybrid card game with rogue mechanics. You'll be battling your way through the Spire and making critical decisions, ultimately building up your own custom deck of cards. Fingers crossed your deck will be strong enough to overcome the really tough bosses at the end of each floor. There's tons of replayability here. Each of the 4 characters has completely different cards to work with, and I've poured countless hours into replaying this. I'm tired of other pay-to-win card games. Slay the Spire is just a regular game from start to finish. No BS, no microtransactions. Titanfall 2. I was not prepared for how brilliant the single-player campaign was here, considering the original Titanfall didn't even have a campaign. It's all about the bond between a Titan and its pilot, with some great level design too. I don't want to get into detail and spoil any surprises though. Multiplayer is great too, with parkour and making use of mechs. If PvP isn't your thing, I've done a fair share of the co-op mode, where you defend objectives against waves of increasingly difficult enemies. The main campaign is only about 5 hours long, but it's absolutely worth downloading this just to play through the campaign, and that's what Game Pass is all about. The Yakuza series is something I've regretfully neglected until recently. I'm currently working my way through them all to eventually catch up to the latest one, Like a Dragon. I'm loving the Yakuza story and characters. Starting with Yakuza 0, the story is all about life in the 1980s, in a city based on Japan. My favourite character Majima is simply batshit crazy, while Kiryu also has his moments through minigames like karaoke. The brawler combat can be a bit hit and miss, but you can't deny the battle and boss music is awesome. I'm afraid there's only Japanese voice acting, which is understandably going to turn some people off. We've got the entire series of Dragon Age available, but Dragon Age Origins is my personal top pick and favourite. Bear with this one, the graphics might be a little out of date compared to its sequels, but there's a fantastic fantasy RPG here with top quality storytelling and agency. I found one of the most memorable parts of the game to be helping your party members resolve their own dilemmas through their own optional questlines. Just in general, the characters are really well written, and there's some brilliant banter between them. Terraria is one more game that you're going to want to bring some friends along for the ride. This one is described as a 2D Minecraft. There's exploration, mining, crafting, building, and at the core of the game some great progression. You'll be discovering and working your way through loads of different bosses. There's Cthulhu eyeballs, Eater of Worlds, gigantic walls of flesh, and you'll earn plenty of new equipment or tools that might just help you reach new locations and resources. Terraria has been a labour of love, one that keeps getting free patches and updates, which has been the perfect excuse to bring friends back for another playthrough. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is an obvious one. If you haven't played this already, Skyrim brought about a new era of open world games. This is an RPG where you play the Dragonborn in an immersive world where you can just lose yourself for weeks at a time and hunt dragons. Mod support is pretty awesome too, and allows you to tailor and enhance your experience, or just make it completely crazy. That's just some of my recommendations. There's tons of awesome games in Game Pass. Definitely check out Doom Eternal. I might share some more recommendations in the future, but for now, peace.